Now, back for part 2 of my Minnesota adventure. And before I get into the actual cards and so forth and things I journaled, I thought, I should probably show you my kit. So if you're going to be a New Ager on the go kind of person, and you're going to go to one of these disaster things, or maybe you're just traveling, it's good to have some kind of contained kit to help you do your practice. So can you get your practice into a really small space? What it is I had a much larger duffel bag for checked luggage, and this was inside the duffel bag. And so what I have here is a trusty towel. If I need to make some kind of bundle when I'm doing various poses to stretch. I have my water bottle, empty of course, because you can't have fluids when you take things to the plane. They don't like that. That scares them, and rightly so. Just kind of open this a little, and you can see the yoga mat itself. Interestingly enough, this case, even though it has lots of pockets, and I find it really useful, in places for your water and the towel and all this, was really cheap. It was like 75% off on Amazon because it doesn't have lots of little cute sayings on it and prints. To me, that's actually more helpful to have all these pockets and things. Then traveling neti pot, and of course salt. In here, I'm not going to pull it out, but I do have a 1/4 teaspoon measuring kind of spoon. You can see a little bit of the handle maybe there. And that way, if you know anything about neti pots, if you don't have the salt, it's a very painful experience. I mean, if you really have to do it, you'll do it, but I mean, it hurts. It raises the concentration level of the water, so it can't be as absorbed in I forget the word, where it transfers from the bloodstream into the cells, or from the nasal passageway directly into the cells. So by having that higher concentration of salt, it just flushes through and flushes out the junk out of your nose versus trying to be absorbed in. The absorbing in is what hurts from the neti pot. That's why you got to have the salt. And so I do that twice a day at least. Once in the morning, first thing in the morning, brush my teeth. I do this exercise where you scrub your tongue, because when toxins come out, they come out on your tongue. And so that's why, like, if you've been fasting or doing antioxidant behavior, you might have like a film of gooey nastiness on your tongue, because that's one of the places it shows up. And also usually more at night when I'm about ready to do my, in this case at this time it was my second yoga exercise. One in the morning, like a cup of coffee, and the second one at night was a de-stress. It was my heavier set. More physical, that is, and which is really great when you do the shavasana. And then I like to bookend my yoga practice, and also can do this when I'm doing tarot readings sometimes, is little symbols. And so I tend to hit them 3 times. And having that bookend about entering into and out of sacred space, like first time to enter in and the second time at the end enters out, it's really great for transitioning yourself psychically and psychologically. And so don't overrate that, or underrate that, I should say. Definitely something like that is very helpful, whatever works for you. Could even be clapping or chanting, which I also do. And then in the middle pocket I had my small tarot deck. So you want to have probably the smallest kind of tarot deck that you can, that you really groove with. So for me, of course, that was the Thoth, or Toth, as some people like to say it, and say it that's more proper. Also, I had some stones in there, so I could vibrate with those if I needed to try to get through. I believe it's some kind of moonstone, malachite, and then kind of like the geometry piece more. Also, the idea is it's stable. Very, very stable. And most of my yoga exercises were concentrated on stability. They looked at issues of foundation, and I would hold very strong, stable poses for long periods of time, and that's how they were intense. And the idea is that my world felt very unstable, and so by challenging in the exercise and going and seeking mass amounts of stability, such as a modified tree pose, warrior pose, things like this, doing Satu Bundi, the bridge to Sri Lanka, mythical bridge to Sri Lanka, the bridge pose. I hadn't got into wheel then. Also one-handed, plank pose, which is looks like a one-handed push-up, except you have your other hand straight up in the air. Those kinds of things were the strength and the stable and the balancing. The idea of finding balance in the exercises helped me find balance in this very chaotic situation. So again, having a good kit is, don't underestimate the wonderfulness of a good kit. That's something I talk about a lot in my AmeriCorps volunteer position, is, making a kit, make a plan, and being and staying informed for disasters and things like this. So always good to have a kit, and remember, if we don't plan for these things, then we should, probably plan to fail. So you want to have something. Think about it now. What do you need if you're going to travel? Maybe you won't be traveling for a disaster relief operation, but maybe you have to go somewhere. What if you get a call, heaven forbid, and someone says, "Oh, Aunt Sue isn't going to maybe make it much longer. She's got a week tops. You need to come out now." Do you have a travel kit to help you stay centered, balanced, and whatnot when all the fit hits the shan? So these are where the advantages with things like this. So I just wanted to show you my kit that I use also on a daily deal. I do practice a lot of my religion, as I put it, to work at lunch, and I do a yoga set there, and so I use this quite a bit.